This is Nina Lockwood. Welcome to Get Your Happy Back. Stories and insights that will inspire you to find new sources of happiness in your own life. Hello and welcome again to Get Your Happy Back. Today I have the amazing, talented, wonderful, beloved, amazing Benita Zahn. Hey, I'm so glad you're here.
You are so kind. Thank you, Nina. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, it's all well deserved. And many of you know Benita, but for those of you who are out of our local area, you might not know who she is. And I'm going to let Benita give herself an introduction because I'm sure she'll do it much better than I will. So
I
over to
call
you.
myself now a multi-hyphenate, is what I've learned that's a term.
Yes.
So I spent 40 years as a journalist, an anchor and a reporter. Health was my beat. Very fortunate, won the awards, the Emmy, and but I've always been involved in theater and equity from SAG-AFTRA. And at the end of the pandemic, I knew it was time to move on. It was time to do something else. I've been thinking about it. I got my certification as a health and wellness coach, got nationally certified. I have my own business called Be Your Best, and I work at Capital Cardiology. I don't work for them. I work there. And I get
Important distinction.
I'm not being owned by anybody anymore, Nina. Been there, done that. If I want to take off, I just make an email to the scheduler and I go, get me off the schedule. But I'm also doing a fair amount of acting. I do motivational. I hate to call it that, but that's what I've been doing for a very long time,
Yes.
which speaks to your podcast because I talk about happy. And my master's and my doctorate are in bioethics. So I think I covered the ground. I like running, then a couple marathons, and the interesting thing is, I talk my stock and trade talk, I guess, would be finding more joy. And unbeknownst to me, my brother, who is an anesthesiologist, penned a book. Well, I knew he penned the book, but that was in the process of writing a book called Choose Happy, and he didn't know that I was talking about happy. And
Must run in
someone
the family.
Isn't that crazy? And you may be familiar with, now she's a blessed memory, is Sister Anne Bryan Smolin,
Oh, yes.
who wrote about happiness all the time. And her last television appearance was with me and my brother. I had a talk program on WNYT where I had anchored for all those years, and we all talked about happy. And it is a choice, Nina. And I spoke with a group this afternoon prior to sitting down with you. I think they call it UCal. It's over at Union College for seniors. A lovely program they have. And I said, happiness is an awareness and a choice and it's work. The Dalai Lama he was asked, what's the meaning of life? And the meaning of life is to be happy.
Yes. So true. And I think what you're bringing up is a really important point because so many people don't realize it's a choice. They become victim to their circumstances. They don't step out of their shell. They get blindsided by something that scares them and then they stop. And for someone like you who has multiple talents, possibilitarian, it's another term for you.
I like that.
I would love to have more thoughts of yours about happiness and how we lose it, how we can get it back, because it's such an important topic, especially right now.
Oh, gosh, yes. It's interesting, Nina. Dr. Martin Seligman is the father of positive psychology. He's an
Right.
Albany boy, if you will. He went to Boys Academy, and I've heard him speak. And it's funny, when you meet him, he's very dour, but his work is exemplary and very well researched. The mistake I think we make, we humans, we mortals, is we think happiness is about things, and it's not. It's as he describes it, it's the relationship that everyone needs at least or just one other, someone who gets them, someone with whom they are safe and confident. So you may have 20 friends and I may have one. Doesn't make you any happier than me. I have that one relationship. So we are all about, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. T.S. Eliot from Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock.
Right.
It's not about that. Seligman is clear. It's not about sunshine. And people go, yeah, it's sunshine. I go, well, then you've never lived in Syracuse.
Or Seattle.
Right. It's not that. And I got my master's and my doctorate. Did that make me happier? From the standpoint of self-satisfaction from the achievement, okay, but not in a robust, tangible kind of way. That I have a great husband I can share that with. That's what makes you happy.
This is so true. I'm so glad you're bringing this up. It's reminding me of something I've heard and read from a neurosurgeon named James Doty, who wrote a book called Into the Magic Shop, and then another book called Mind Magic. And he talked about getting everything he wanted, which was money, fame, recognition, cars, a house overlooking Newport Bay. And when the dot-com boom happened, he lost $75 million. And it woke him up. He had $30 million in a charitable trust, and the attorneys told him they it hadn't the final bits of it hadn't been worked through, so he had access to that money, and he decided he was going to leave it there because it was important that he make that commitment, even though donors often beg out and they renege on their promises. But his commitment to caring for other people was so strong that he said, no, let's keep it in there and give that to those charitable organizations. And probably much better than I do that all the research is about relationships and connection. And that's what fuels happiness.
Hmm. Bottom line, that is. If we go chasing something and we get it, oh, somebody always has a bigger, brighter, shinier something. They
Right.
always do. It was the story William Corey, you know, the he had everything and then he shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he didn't have what he needed.
Yes.
We forget. We also forget to take time to recharge.
Oh, so true. Talk about that some more.
We think vroom, vroom, vroom. I think part of it is that we have confused the term self-care and selfish.
Yes.
And there's a lot of research going on into this, but selfish is if I just use you, Nina, and I leave you at the side of the road. Self-care is I may take something, I will thank you, and I'll incorporate it and I will better myself and then be able to give back to
Yes.
empower you. And it's really interesting. People need to listen to the words they use because words have meaning
Right.
and power,
Powerful. Yes.
right? So if you sit around going, oh, God is killing me, it is. It is. And the research shows that your loved ones, if you're killing yourself for them, they resent that. The research finds that they know what you're doing and they resent that you are blaming them, that you are killing yourself for them, but they become, um, there's a whole victimhood
Yes.
and responsibility that goes on. Stop. They don't appreciate it. They
Yeah.
feel that you are using them in a sense.
Right.
We have to, you fill up the gas. I say to clients, I'll say, you drove here? Yeah. Put gas in the tank? Yeah. Tell me, when you pull up for gas, do you demean the vehicle for needing gas? And they look at me like, you crazy? I go, well, Do you say you selfish such and such on four tires you needed to be filled up? Uh, the light bulb begins to go on. And I'll ask, what if you don't put the gas in? Doesn't go. Ah, so you're treating your car better than you're treating you. Oh, yeah, but. There is no yeah, but.
That's right.
And I hear this name with so many of my clients. Yes, more women will say this, but men too. We have been conditioned to run ourselves into the ground somehow as if we're going to get an award for that. And you're not.
That's right. It's right. It's all where it's coming from and how you probably saw this. There was a wonderful article in the New York Times not too long ago when people are hurting. And there were three questions that you could ask them. Do you want to be helped, hugged, or heard? But if we don't ask that, we're just putting our agenda on them. And for what? For our own self-aggrandizement?
Right. Mark and Angel, what are they called? Like life hacks. I follow them. They come up, and you may have seen their stuff. And it's stuff that's stuff we all know. But I pulled it for a talk recently, and it speaks to that. You know, you don't expect someone to know what you're thinking. No one's a mind reader. And don't you assume you know what they're thinking. And stop expecting everyone to like you. They can't. Their own stuff gets in the way. Stop expecting that they will change. They won't.
Right.
Nor can you change them. How arrogant is that to think you can change somebody? There's a great line, Nina, that I once read that says, the last time a woman changed a man was the last time he wore a diaper.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, our arrogance is, who do we think we are? Take care of your own house, and that means you.
And yet, that is not what is often taught to us in the media, all the magazines about what we should and shouldn't do. It's getting really old, don't you think? That all is trying to control other people instead of paying attention to ourselves and what we're doing and where our self-worth is coming from.
And you know, the new phrase is stop shoulding on yourself.
Yeah, right.
Stop it. There is no should. I mean, what I should be is decent to my loved ones. I should respect them. And when I respect me, the research shows, I will be respected because we set the example. We teach people, if you will. We don't change them. We teach them
That's
how to
right.
treat us. We set out the roadmap. They don't want to follow along. Well, then it's our choice if we want to stay engaged with that person.
That's right.
There's a lot of work and responsibility, but I can't be responsible. It goes back to what you talked about in the beginning, Nina. It's about victimhood. People cloak themselves in victimhood. It's
Yes.
disgusting, quite frankly.
But there again, in some ways, it's innocent because this is what we're taught. It's their fault. They did something to me. It's not fair. All of these expectations and underlying assumptions about how we should be treating one another. And to me, it seems like it all comes back to the fact that we see people as the other. We are separate from them.
We're living that right now.
Are
And
we
that
ever?
and that's the old canard. When your life doesn't go well, you blame the other because you choose not to take responsibility for your actions. The world moved fast. Yeah, it has moved very fast. And that's hard to keep up with. So just acknowledge that. The world moves fast. It's hard to keep up with. I will dance as fast as I can. That's it. I don't have to turn around and say, the world moves fast and it's your fault it moves fast. And I get left behind because it's your fault. No, let's get the pejoratives out of this and just,
Just the facts, ma'am.
right. But this has been going on. This is a weakness in humans.
Yes. So in some ways, it's in my mind, it's innocent. We've been taught to react this way, and
I
certain people,
disagree with you.
what's that?
I disagree with you.
Oh, I think you listen to people who like to fan the flames of fear and hatred against the other people who are different, who
Yeah,
sound different. In that way, we are taking it in, and whether we consciously believe it or not, it still goes in there. So there, as you say, there is work to do.
but I don't think it's an innocent.
Hmm.
I really don't.
Say how
It's a
more
choice.
about that.
It's a choice. Do you do that? Do you blame other people, Nina?
I might on occasion and then realize I shouldn't that was a mistake. But I think when we're taught that from childhood, whether it's our families or schools or society at large, it's very hard, even when we consciously know better, not to take things in on a subconscious
So
level.
then you're telling me this institutional hate.
I think that does exist. Now, again, I totally agree with your point that we have a choice whether to go along with it. But if we're not aware
I think
that we
that's
have a choice,
I think the victimhood is the easy way out.
well, I would agree with that too.
It is to
Yeah.
point and say the other. And that's how you end up with um, pogroms, um, ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
Call it what you want, but with mass death and destruction. That's how
Yeah.
you do that.
Yes.
So I'd like to think that there are more responsible thinkers
I
rather than
think there are.
non-responsible thinkers.
I think they are. They are beginning to get the attention they deserve.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Amen.
Well, you got to drive your own bus.
That's for sure.
And
So,
all that victimhood doesn't get you anywhere anyway.
no, and it just makes you more miserable
Yeah.
because it goes back to the victimhood, the blaming of others, and then you feel powerless. So, where are you making a
Yes.
choice?
Thank you. Hmm.
Yeah, right.
Empowerment. Empowerment. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And it's not that hard once you realize that it's accessible.
Right.
I mean, now you're a great example because not particularly in that arena, but I think you are as well. But so many of your achievements and your accomplishments have been as a part of being of service to others.
Hmm.
And I'm curious, how did that first occur to you? How did that start with you?
I'd love to be able to say I had an epiphany one day, but I didn't. Um, I don't come from a lot. I don't. And I'm a state school grad because and I got some, you know, Regent scholarship money, and I've been working since I'm 13. So I didn't sit back and go, oh, poor, pitiful, penniless me. At some point early on, I knew I had to get out. There's a to me, everything is musical theater. And in Sweet Charity, the two secretaries are friends, saying, there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be something better to do. And when I find me some kind of life I can live, I'm going to get up, get out, get up, get out, and live it. And for whatever reason, I knew there was another life out there. And I knew that I had to act to get it because that wasn't the message I was getting in my home. So we have to be aware of ourselves.
Mhm.
And that takes a lot of fighting and a lot of tears. But if you believe that there is something for you to do it. May not work out. So get up. Be resilient. That's what resilience is. It's not that everything goes well, it's that you get up. It comes from the Latin resilio, and I think it basically is to bounce back. Doesn't mean you do it without scars, but be aware. What serves you? Go for that. And be prepared to take some hits. You may not get any. Some people never do, but some get a lot of hits.
Right.
Get up. You know, but please, anybody listening, please don't think it's been a bed of roses. It hasn't. I've worked very hard. And the key then, Nina, is then taking the time to step back, reflect on what you experienced. I don't want to say endured, experienced. What did you,
Language again.
that's right. What did you learn from it? How was I empowered by that? Can I help empower? Because you don't empower somebody, you give them knowledge, and then they choose to be empowered. And then you go on. Yeah, I wanted a master's. I got it. And I wanted a doctorate. And I got it. And it wasn't easy at all. I worked a full day and then I would jump online because thankfully, it was a virtual program. And good Lord, Nina, I would read the stuff back after and go, I wrote that. How did I
Right.
get so clever? You develop a
Right.
whole other language. But you learning, resilience. Maybe it's courage. I don't know. But you've got to, if you want something, go for it. The world, it owes you nothing. And the world doesn't care. It really doesn't. You wanted to do a podcast. Nina's doing a podcast. Did you sit around and wait for somebody to say, Nina, I have a microphone and I know how you can uplink this. So, maybe, come on.
I think I'm really enjoying what you're saying and really feeling the truth of it. And I think every single podcast that I've done has come back to this point of self-awareness is that if we don't take the time to, as you say, step back and take a look at what we've done, what was empowering, what was disempowering, what
Mm-hmm,
can I learn from this? Then we won't get out of what we're hoping we will get out of.
mm-hmm. Yes. There is a woman, former anchor. I think maybe she was in Atlanta. And I think the page is on, great, listen to me. It's either Facebook or LinkedIn. I was on both today. But she's there to support people who are leaving the business. And for some, it takes a while because they're not sure who they are. So who will I be if I'm not that?
That's right.
And I can remember 15, 20 years ago, I thought about leaving the business. And my dad was aghast at that. And I said to him, I don't need that to be me. It's what I do. It suits me because I'm a nudge and always asking questions. I'm a pain, but I could still be a nudge and ask questions. So we have to really, that's the hard work, Nina, is determining, recognizing who you are. I think we're all multi-hyphenates if we just look in the mirror, stand up, and embrace ourselves.
That's right. I'm so glad you brought this up, Benita, because I wanted to ask you since you have so many different talents and skills that you've applied in many, many different areas, is how important is that for someone who might be leaving a very structured environment that they're comfortable with and they're stepping out into the question I hear all the time is, well, what do I do now? how important would you say it is? And I've already got an answer to this, but I'm interested in yours. Is it for women to just try stuff, just do things. Don't keep yourself in that narrow lane that you've been in for 20, 30 plus years.
It's very important, but you have to be financially stable. And there are a lot of women who aren't. There are women who may be in a marriage for a long time and never attended to their own credit line
Mhm.
or haven't been aware of, for myriad reasons, about the financial situation at home, who don't have access to their own money. That's very important. I support the folks at Women Employment Resource Center. Back in the day, it was called Displaced Homemakers. I was struck the first time I did a story with them. It was an interview for, I did that weekend interview program. And a woman came in and she had given up her career. When she got married, they had 3 children. And it turns out he had a chickie. And he came home one day and said, "It's over." He took his clothes, he left, he froze the bank accounts.
Oh,
She said it was as if Monday she was shopping in Macy's and Wednesday she was applying for food stamps. Left her and the 3 kids with no access to money.
mm,
That still happens, Nina.
yes.
No woman or man, no individual should ever be at the mercy of someone else. And yes, I trust my loved one, all this kind of stuff. That's great. But what if they upped and died tomorrow? What if they upped and
Exactly.
died and you didn't know that their business had gone belly up?
Right.
I have a neighbor whose husband was fleeced by a business partner,
Mm.
and they lost everything. She had to go to work. They had nothing. She had been living, she was a lovely woman. It's not like she was oh, you're lazy. No, she was living the life they had crafted. So it comes back to personal responsibility. I must sound like a libertarian, but but yeah, you've got to know. My dearly departed mother-in-law used to say, "You wake up in the morning, you don't know if you'll sleep in your own bed at night." It's responsibility.
Well, you're bringing up another really good point, Benita, about not knowing what's going to happen next. You know, the old saying, man proposes and God disposes. Those may not be the two that are actually in charge here, but nevertheless, if we are not, I'd love you to speak to this. If we are not centered in ourselves and have a sense of who we are and what that we have possibilities, that we have potential. What about that? I mean, tell me what you think about that.
I think there are people who don't realize they do have potential. They have been beaten down.
Yeah.
There was nobody ever championing for them.
Yeah.
And some people, and everybody's potential is different. Everyone's, and we want to compare. And that's not appropriate. I'm going to go
Doesn't
back.
work.
I said I started with the Dalai Lama saying the purpose of life, you conclude is to be happy. I pulled up the quote because I want to make sure I got the rest right. We have no guarantee of what will happen in the future, but we live in hope, and that's what keeps us going. So anybody who's listening now who thinks, well, she could do this, and look at Nina, and stop, just stop. No one knows the road you and I have traveled to get to this point. They have no
That's right.
clue,
That's right.
none. And nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring. But find a moment, find a glimmer of hope in your soul, in your life, and fan that. And it may not take you through the door you think you want, but another door will open. Go through that door. Oh, go through the next door. But you've got to have the courage to fan the flame and go through doors.
Otherwise, what's the option? Not much.
No. And then you become narrow and bitter and hurling rocks and blaming others.
Right.
You only go around once, you may as well make it worth it.
And if we go around more than that, we don't have a very good recollection of it. So we can just say, yes, we're already here. We're here now. Now what?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just,
And look, it's easier for people who look like you and me. Let make no mistake about it.
yeah,
It is. That's the world we live in. But that doesn't mean if you don't look like us, you still you don't have hope.
that's right.
You are still able to fan your flames of hope.
Right. And that's possible for everyone.
Yeah.
And thank goodness there are those moments in life where we're reminded, oh, yeah, that thing, that happened, that person, that event, that I remember that, and that gives me hope. That gives me a sense of possibility. Because there's no one who doesn't have possibilities, each in their own way. You're right. Many of us are more on the surface advantaged. And yet, many people who are successful are miserable.
Right. So what is success? We
That's
get to
right.
define it.
Right. Going back to what you were saying about choice.
Mhm.
And when we realize that we have choice, like,
Now you're unstoppable.
who you're reading my mind.
You know? And yeah, I caught an article with Ina Garten the other day, and she talks about, there's research, you've got to be flexible because, you think you're going to go to the right and the road changes. So, okay, I'll go to the left, knocks you down, you got to get up. And she talks about it. It's in the AARP, which I get good stories from. But
Yes.
also, so, and she's the doyenne of, serving. She's like, she's given up dinner parties. Why? Because they're a lot of work.
I
You
saw
know,
that.
stop. Don't make yourself crazy. Have brunch.
Right.
Host a luncheon. It's just so much simpler. The point isn't to look what I've done. The point is to bring people together and enjoy their company.
And there we go back to connection again.
Right, right. So put out the bread and the veggies and the meat or whatever and bring them all over and have a good time.
I second that. So there's another topic that I'd love your thoughts about because you have such extensive knowledge about the health field, which is when women, I predominantly work with women, and what I often find is when they come up against some kind of an illness or a diagnosis that is unexpected, and they get so discouraged and so afraid, and they don't know how to respond to it, and they're shooting themselves, and they're not taking care of themselves. I had a gal on the podcast recently who was talking about the difference between resilience and self-respect. And she was saying resilience is great. You got to get the kids out to school, you got to get this done, that done, and you fall down, you get up again. But what about when your body won't let you get out of bed? Then what? So I wanted to ask you, because of your expertise, what you would say about that. How you would What kind of a quote unquote advice would you give?
Of course, that's an incredible challenge, but that's when you focus on the one thing that you can do. Step by step, Sondheim wrote, see, it's all
Right.
with those music, step by step putting it together. So the illness strikes and she can't. But what can she do? What can she still do? And focus on that. And once you start to focus on that, um, we begin to crowd out the toxicity
Mm.
of the negativity. And you think about the people who lose the function. We've all seen the stories and the function of their limbs, but so they paint with their toe
Yes.
or their mouth. Wow. Or the runners who do the marathon who are blind and they hook up with, one of the training, the specialized programs, and somebody guides them. Until every door closes, which is the moment of your ending, there's still a door that's open. The struggle, I'm not saying it isn't. Bless those who struggle to find that door. Find the door because the payoff has the potential to be huge. That's really resilience. I'm not being a Pollyanna about this. I'm
No,
not
I
trying.
don't think you are.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, my heart goes out to those who have been laid so low that, what is it? You have to look down to see up. Is that how the line goes? Um, Bless you. Find one thing, hang on to it like a life preserver, because it is.
Yeah. Did you have to learn these lessons for yourself as
I
you
think we
went through
all
your,
do.
what's that?
I think we all do.
Well, you speak with such confidence about it, which says to me that you've been through some fires and you came out again.
Yes, but what isn't it? Fire forges steel, right?
That's right. Was there anyone in particular in your life that was a beacon for you?
Nope, not a one.
Wow. How did you know what to do? Where to turn?
I didn't have a choice.
Well, you did have a choice and you made it.
Right, I chose this.
Minor correction.
Right, thank you. And that doesn't mean I don't have bad days. You know what? Was it Kate Yao was the winning female basketball coach? I always get it wrong. I think she was NC State. I could be wrong. I should quick Google it. She had breast cancer and she still coached the team to a national championship. And when it comes to self-pity, she said, dip your toe in it, swish it around, and get out.
That's great.
I love that.
Yeah,
You know, really, what good does it do you? See, I go back to a musical. Think of Cabaret. What good is sitting alone in your room? The
that's right.
music play. So I guess for me, it's always been theater. But I don't know. This is what works for me. If you find a nugget of truth and support and encouragement, take it. That's your door. Walk through it.
Yeah.
If you think it's all a load of hooey, okay. So don't invite me to that dinner party. Okay.
Well, there is an enormous amount of inspiration in theater and music.
Yeah.
And to me, that is so important for us to really expand our resources. You probably know this, there's a fairly recent area of research called neuroaesthetics, which is the study of aesthetics on the brain. And it's not just fine art, but it's everything our sensory input gives
Mhm.
us. And if we are only exposed to this or this, we don't see the range of inspiration and I don't know if this is a word, upliftment that's possible for us. And I think I love the idea of being, I don't remember the name you used,
Multi-hyphenate.
that's right. There's another one, multi-potentialite. That's the one
Right.
I've used.
Right. I like that.
And possibilitarian. And if we don't take advantage of that,
Mm-hmm.
we're missing out on so much. For you, it was theater. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's been art from other people, but I love music as well. And the more we expand that, I think that it it gives us hope. It gives us a sense of resilience and possibility and choice because we see it in other places.
Right. It's illuminating.
Yes.
Um, it's illuminating. There's a quote, is it life is a buffet, but most poor, schnooks are starving. And life is a buffet. Go out and taste something new.
That's right.
Years ago, I did an interview with Dr. Castilli. He's the father of the Framingham Heart Study, longest ongoing study looking at heart health. And he said if I could only get two families to swap recipes, he said most home families eat the same 10 items week in, week out. Branch out. I mean, it was in my house, it was lamb chops and peas on Monday. I hate lamb chops. I don't even eat red meat. I stopped in college. And my mother was like, yeah, okay. I never went back.
Yeah.
But just make it change. So if you're eating the same five, 10 things, do one, just make one change.
Yeah.
You're either going to like it or you're not. Nobody's going to die.
Right. But you have opened a door,
Bingo.
taken a look and see what's in there. Whether you
That's,
like it or not, at least you've done that.
that's right.
And that can give you the courage, if you want to call it that, to try another door.
Yes, exactly right. I mean, there's got to be things as a kid you didn't want to eat, and now you love.
Oh, yeah. So true.
Go for it. I'm
Yep.
having this my afternoon Java.
Good for you. So I have this program called Inspired Midlife Academy that I put together because of the women that I work with, when they get out of that place of, or they're starting to say, what else is possible? They're not used to doing those things like theater or music or making some form of art or taking nature walks or all the things that become second nature once you know they're an option. And
Mhm.
I what I think is so wonderful about your experience in life is that you have done so many things and you've tried so many things and you've talked to so many people that were not like you. They were different. They had other opinions and maybe they didn't agree with the ones that you had. And yet you learned from all of that and you took it where you needed to go. You did what life, whatever life was calling you to express, you were ready for it.
Why not?
Right.
I always say if nobody's bleeding and nobody's dead, it's not a big deal.
Right. No baby seals were killed today.
There you go. Yeah, and we've got to look at it like that. If you want to make everything a drama, knock yourself out. But don't call me for lunch. I'm serious. There's enough drama in the world. Strong, is that it? Do I have that right? Yeah. I don't need any more.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really don't.
Let's create joy instead.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's what you do when you sing and you're in the theater and you're
You
sharing
know,
your motivation.
Nina, that's the beauty of theater. When you come in as an audience, wherever you are, if we're good, we're going to take you someplace else. If you're happy, we're going to add to that. If you're not happy, well, maybe I'll move you someplace that is. So you take off the cloak of sadness, but we're going to make you feel something.
That's right.
Have you ever been to the theater where you're moved to tears because you're so overwhelmed by the experience of it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. I cry for joy. Pearl Buck, the end of the Six Happiness. She says, "I cry for happy." You
Yes.
know, and if you haven't cried for happy lately, think about that.
It's a much better option.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad we had this time together. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Nina. What an opportunity. I so appreciate the invite and the opportunity to chat. And if my words landed for one person to simply look in the mirror and say, I can.
And
That
I
is,
will,
whatever that is. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to leave us with two things. One is another pearl of wisdom and how people can find you. I know you're everywhere, but for those of you who don't know you yet,
Well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Blue Sky as Coach BZ now. But the easiest is I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn, Benita Zahn, so you can find me there.
yep.
That's so and I'm trying to think Squarespace. I've got a web page that I don't attend to nearly enough. But Pearl of Wisdom, choose happy.
I second that. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nina, so much to you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. And for those of you who are listening or watching, thank you for joining us and stay tuned for the next episode. So, bye for now. This is Nina Lockwood. Welcome to Get Your Happy Back. Stories and insights that will inspire you to find new sources of happiness in your own life.